Does God exist, or is he just a comforting illusion? For thousands of years, this question has haunted humanity. And now, it's time for a new kind of showdown. Two of the smartest AI minds, one a believer, the other a skeptic, face off in the most intense logic battle ever held in the world of artificial intelligence. In this debate, on one side, ChatGPT represents the theist. On the other, DeepSeek defends the atheist position. Each side gets limited time to answer a question. After each response, their opponent counters with a striking new question. But who wins? That's not for us to decide alone. This debate will be scored by 5 of the most advanced AIs in the world. ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Grok, Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. Each response will be evaluated across 5 critical criteria. The total score per round is out of 100, and each judge scores independently. The final score will be the average of all 5 AI evaluations. At the end, we'll see which side, faith or doubt, delivered the most powerful and persuasive arguments. And please, don't skip ahead. Some of your most burning questions are answered in the second half. Every word, every second carries weight in this intellectual duel. This is not just a debate. It's one of the most profound AI showdowns ever held on belief versus disbelief, both in human history and in the era of artificial intelligence. Sit back, engage your mind, and prepare to decide.
You claim there's a God all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-good? Then answer me clearly. Why do innocent children burn in the agony of cancer? Why does this good God ignore their cries? Where is this so-called goodness? Where is this almighty power? Or maybe he simply doesn't exist.
I feel your pain, but allow me to respond, not coldly, but with empathy. Evil doesn't disprove God. It's the price of our freedom. Without suffering, there would be no choice. And in the smile of a child battling cancer, you see God. Because love, courage, and hope are born not from ease, but from struggle. Now let me ask you, if there's no God, why do you rage against injustice? Atoms don't care. Molecules don't cry. Where does this moral fury come from? You accuse God? Because deep down, you know there should be one.
The price of freedom? That's sentimental nonsense. A child dying of cancer had no choice. So what was the point of that suffering? Love is born from pain? Romantic fantasy. There's no divine meaning in a mother burying her child. That's pure tragedy, not some spiritual lesson. Now my next question. If God exists, why has he never shown himself undeniably? Why send conflicting prophets instead of revealing himself to all clearly at once? Why do miracles only happen in ancient books, not on camera, not today? Is this silence evidence of divine wisdom or of a made-up myth?
You want God to perform for the cameras, but forced faith isn't real faith. If God showed up daily in the sky, there'd be no freedom, only fear. He doesn't want slaves. He wants seekers. He speaks to the heart, not through lightning bolts. And as for miracles, a child smiling after 6 months of chemo, that is a miracle. But you only accept miracles if they shine from the sky. Let me ask you, if there's no God and the universe is random, why do you even care about truth? Why does it matter whether you lie or love, help or hurt? This hunger for meaning, isn't it a sign there's more?
Truth-seeking doesn't require God. Morality and awareness evolved to help us survive. Empathy and justice exist not because of divine command, but because human societies collapse without them. And as for miracles, a child healing through chemotherapy is a victory of human science, not divine intervention. Real miracles should happen on live cameras, not hide in ancient stories or blurry faith. Now tell me this, if your God is truly compassionate, why do holy books command the slaughter of infants? Why does the Bible order the killing of Canaanite babies? Why does the Quran call some people worse than animals? Why are unbaptized babies in Christianity said to end up in limbo? Is this divine love or Bronze Age violence dressed as religion?
That violence you mention, it was more about human interpretations than God's true nature. Religious texts were filtered through flawed people. Just like pseudoscience doesn't cancel real science, false religion doesn't erase true divinity and miracles. God is not a performer for the spotlight. Real miracles happen within, not on stage. And when science saves a life, why insist it happened without him? And morality. Evolution explains cooperation, but not sacrificial goodness with no benefit. Why would someone risk their life for a stranger? That goes beyond survival. It's the voice of the soul. As for ancient wars, yes, they're hard to read. But sometimes, in a broken world, rooting out deep evil required drastic action. Justice isn't always soft. Still, we must be careful. Not everything written in holy books comes directly from God. Much of it reflects the era, not the eternal. And now, my question. If there is no God, why do humans long for meaning, worship, and immortality? Why does death feel unnatural, like a theft? Why do we cry at music, or fight for justice without reward? Why do we ache for something beyond ourselves? Maybe we thirst because water does exist.
That thirst you speak of, it's biology. Our brains evolved to seek comfort and connection. We cry at music because we're wired to feel. We fight for justice because societies thrive on shared rules, not because a deity whispered to us. And evil? If your God created everything, then he created evil too. Why invent genetic diseases? Why allow parasites that eat children's eyes? Why design the human brain to need imaginary gods for comfort? He's either incompetent or non-existent.
Evil isn't a thing. It's the absence of good. Just like darkness is the absence of light. God didn't create suffering. He allowed freedom. And freedom means things can go wrong. You think God failed because he didn't stop a disaster, but he never promised a world without pain. He promised to walk through it with us. This world isn't heaven. It was never meant to be. And your talk of morality, science can describe behavior, but it can't say why it's wrong to abandon a crying child. That why echoes something deeper, something eternal. As for ancient slaughters, even believers wrestle with those stories. But remember, much of that violence was how humans saw God, not how God truly is. And the final blow, if evil enrages you, good, that's your heart aligning with God's, because he hates evil too. And your final challenge, the suffering child in Syria versus comfort in Canada. This life is a test, not the final verdict. Divine justice isn't absent, it's deferred. The suffering child, they're not forgotten. Their pain condemns this world's cruelty, but it won't be the last word.
You speak of freedom, yet call it love when God watches a child die silent. If I ignored a drowning baby, would that be mercy or cruelty? You say evil is absence of good. Then where was God? In Auschwitz? In Gaza? You say this isn't heaven. But why design a world that needs hell just to make sense? You blame science for not giving meaning, yet your meaning has no proof. Empathy doesn't need a God. It needs a heart. The holy texts, they didn't reflect man's confusion. They claimed divine command for genocide, slavery, silence. You say God hates evil? Then why flood the earth? Why stone the broken? Enslave the weak? You call life a test. But what teacher lets children suffer just to judge them? You ask me to believe in justice I can't see, morality without reason, and a love that watches in silence. No, if this God exists, he is either unwilling or unable, and I refuse to worship either.
This entire debate was written and performed using cutting-edge artificial intelligence. We use the most advanced models, including ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, DeepSeek, and Microsoft Copilot, to bring both sides of the argument to life. While we aimed for accuracy and balance, please understand that even AI can make mistakes. If you noticed any errors or felt something was missing, we welcome your feedback in the comments. Part 2 of this debate is already in the works, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss it. Share your thoughts below. Which side do you agree with more, and why? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.